Hello, I'm going to walk you through our exciting new MA, Performance Coaching for Performing Artists. I hope to tell you about the course and its evolution, the course structure, the assignments and our tutoring system. So the objective of this video is to give you an insight into how the degree will function and operate. Just to give you a little information on the course evolution, I have a sister MA in voice pedagogy, which some of you may be aware of. I've been in existence for about 5 years now. I have 150 students on the programme, and I have 43 students that were passed through when I was with Cardiff Metropolitan University that did the PG Cert. I was then later accredited in voice pedagogy, and I now have 150 students on the programme with 20 already completed and another 20 about to complete. Now, during that programme, Teresa was one of my graduates and she was one of my first graduates. And during this programme, she got together with David Hunkos, and it became very apparent that there was a real need for an understanding of performance anxiety and working with performers who were suffering from anxiety, as well as coaching and mentoring much more generally for this particular client group. So from that, they actually carried out a piece of research which was subsequently published, and you can see there it's got the name of all of us on the authorship there. I was Teresa's supervisor, and from that we decided that actually, you know, this almost could be a separate degree in its own right. And so I approached Annette Fillory-Travis of the university, who is also my, she's the overarching head of the department. And she's also, as luck would have it, a coaching and mentoring specialist and indeed a pioneer in her own area. And she agreed that this was a very unique client group, and whether it be dancers, singers, actors or musicians, there needs to be a degree that's really focuses on their needs. At the moment, there are lots of coaching and mentoring pathways that you can take that specialise in leadership and management, and much more organisational and executive coaching. There's also several programmes available where you can study coaching and mentoring in relation to sports, but nothing for performers. And I've read a lot of material relating to sports coaching and mentoring, and although there are some similarities, there are too many differences really, and there's very much a need for this particular MA to exist. And so this woman here, Annette Fillory-Travis, made it happen, and she is quite a remarkable woman. So we put together a syllabus, and we put it through accreditation, and here we are. So just to tell you a little bit about the course structure, it's designed to facilitate coaching and mentoring competencies. So you may or may not be aware that coaching and mentoring isn't a regulated profession, just like singing, teaching and many other professions. There's no regulatory body. There are a number of associations who recommend that certain competencies are met, and we have taken this into account when we have designed the MA, that we hope to enable you to facilitate and develop these competencies. And some of the things that you will be asked to do is to devise a coaching agreement per ethical guidelines. So we focus a lot on ethics, demonstrate and understand a safe, supportive environment, and to develop a coaching mindset and a client-centered approach. So that's what we're going to set out to do. It works in a combination of taught content and individual research. So we cushion you and we steer you and we take you systematically through a number of taught components. And then within that, there is scope to develop your own coaching and mentoring perspective. So we do not impose any kind of approach upon you. Much like the voice ped degree that I also run, I don't impose a particular pedagogy either. So it remains true to those roots of freedom to direct your own pathway within a taught safe program. So we'll try and facilitate those core competencies in a number of ways. You'll explore a range of theoretical approaches and you'll apply fundamental principles to your own practice. So you'll begin by getting familiar with coaching and mentoring, by coaching and mentoring one another. There'll be lots of triads where you observe one another coaching and you take it in turns to coach and mentor. We have a range of taught videos which will give you the theoretical perspectives that are available, and we have a very well-stocked library that will enable you to explore the evidence base. One of the things to be aware is that it is very much an emerging discipline, and you'll have to do a lot of cross-synthesis from other disciplines. It makes it exciting because it means there's an awful lot of work to be done, a lot of groundbreaking work to be done. And it's very exciting. And 5 years ago, when I started the voice ped degree, there was very little research available. And now there's a lot more coming onto the market, and my students are at the forefront of some pioneering development. I've had many get published. I've had many present at conferences, and I've no doubt that the coaching and mentoring pathway will work in a very similar way. So it's an exciting time to get involved. So in terms of talk content, what will you be looking at? You'll be looking at, well, what is coaching? What's the difference between coaching and mentoring? What's the differences between coaching and psychotherapy? What are the ethical codes of practice? Because it isn't a regulated industry, it's not regulated. It cusps on that psychotherapeutic traditions. It's influenced heavily by psychology, but you're not a psychotherapist. So those codes of ethics are very, very important. We'll look at coaching and performance enhancement theory. You'll have an opportunity to develop your own route, your own coaching and mentoring perspective. You'll also deal with performance anxiety, although coaching and mentoring performers is a lot broader than just simply coaching anxiety. It may be an area that you specialise in, it may not. You may work with the career development of performers. You may work with mentoring them through their process of learning. You may be a vocal coach at the same time, and you may interweave the two. It's relevant for singers, actors, dancers, and of course, instrumentalists. In terms of talk content, we will look at MPA, we'll look at strategies, we'll look at spoken voice anxiety as well. Barlow's tripartite model of anxiety, ACC models, Kenny's attachment models, these are all very familiar models to working with performance anxiety. And you'll also have room to develop your own strategy here. There is an awful lot of evidence-based work that has been undertaken using ACT, but it isn't the only method, and there's plenty of scope for you to develop your own perspectives. You'll also be able to navigate psychological aspects of pain, recovery from injury. So it's having that understanding of the client group that is important, that we'll give you. We'll also look at occupational stress and burnout. And it's all about developing an effective practice and, of course, working with groups. So you will be continuously working with one another and developing your practical experience of coaching and mentoring whilst dabbling with the theoretical perspectives. How do we start you off? We start you off with a formative assignment. So we've got two key assignments. We've got formative assignments and we have summative assignments. Now, the reason we use the two is formative ones aren't formally assessed, but they help you build skills. They'll either be helping you to build your written skills, or they'll be helping you to build your coaching and mentoring skills, your practical skills. So the first assignment is there to tackle your master's level writing. Some students come in and make that transition very easily. We have a lot of students that come in from practical degrees. They just need a bit of time to learn the ropes in terms of academic writing, and we are very, very skilled at developing you as academic writers. So we will give you a range of assignments and you can choose something that suits your needs. Hopefully, whatever you do within this assignment, you'll be able to bring back into one of the summative assignments later on. There's an opportunity to submit drafts and gain valuable feedback. First module is all about building a pathway, and it has 3 key objectives, which is to get down into the theoretical models of coaching and mentoring and to apply these to your practice and reflect on the outcomes. It also aims to help you develop a plan and your career objectives. So it's all about asking where it is you'd like to go, where have you come from and where would you like to go? And it starts with getting you to explore some of that academic content and begin to pull it back into your practice of actually coaching. We'll ask you then to build up that on in terms of your practical assignment, which will culminate in video recorded sessions of your coaching and mentoring. And we'll get you to devise key coaching plans, which are fundamental as you go into becoming a professional coach, being able to work with a coaching plan. Module 2 then builds further and will get you to start building skills. And we'll be looking at developing a theoretical understanding, which you will then apply to your practice. And you may choose any area of coaching. So this is where it gets nice and free. So we free you up to choose your own coaching pathway. There are lots of coaching perspectives, lots of theories. You don't have to be true to one. You can mix and match and devise something that suits you, as long as you can justify it, as long as you have a depth of understanding. So we will ask you to really engage into 2 aspects within this module. You'll devise a rationale for your coaching methodology and your methodologies, and you'll devise a coaching strategy, and you'll actually carry out 6 hours worth of coaching. And we will ask you to submit that either through videos or through audio. And you will also incorporate a reflective review evaluating that process of learning. You'll then go on to part 2, where you will really pull apart coaching perspectives and methods, and you'll deepen your practice and apply them to your practice. And you will engage in further reflection. So it's like a cycle of building up those skills within this 30 credit module. We'll then take a break and we will look at research methods, because without research methods, you won't be able to do the next module. One of the things to bear in mind here, if you exit now, after 3 modules, you would exit with 60 credits, and that 60 credits would give you a postgraduate certificate. So you would be ending the postgraduate certificate on a research methods module. So ideally, the course is designed for you to go on to the MA, because the next module enables you to conduct a micro research project. So that will give you any area you wish to undertake. It could be a particular coaching perspective, a particular coaching model, or it could be an aspect of coaching itself. It might be to do with power relationships. It could be to do with listening skills. It could be to do with ethics. It could be anything that you feel you'd like to develop in your coaching practice. Module 5, we would like you to focus on mentoring. Because mentoring and coaching are subtly different. So part 1, we ask you to justify and develop a rationale for a mentoring program. We ask you to apply critical elements of mentoring to your expected learning outcomes. We ask you to devise a mentoring pathway that suits your own individual practice. And we ask you to plan and deliver a mentoring program, which entails 6 hours of mentoring. This will then be followed by a reflective review of the learning process. The second aspect, so again, very similar to the previous module, you've got those 2 aspects. You will be asked to analyse mentoring concepts and apply them to your practice. And again, you can specialise here. So these modules have got some structure to them, but you can take them and develop them into any area that you feel is suited to your needs. And we have got flexibility to really allow you to go wherever you wish to go within these modules. So they're very safe in the sense they cosset you with some kind of framework, but equally we're not trying to limit or inhibit your freedom. The final module, the final MA module, is a final dissertation, which is essentially a large scale piece of research, much larger scale piece of research of approximately 16,000 words. And you will be able to look at any particular facet of coaching, mentoring, and apply it to your practice. It may be you develop a particular strategy and you test it out and you actually look at the outcomes. And from that, you'll actually maybe generate some research that you can get published. So we will be gearing you towards publishing in this area because it's very much needed. And if you have a very positive outcome to your coaching and mentoring practice, then it's important that that gets out there. And this is exactly what happened with Teresa and the work that she did with David Hunkos. It's now gained publication in a prestigious journal, and it's led to other work from that. So that's where we're hoping to take you. It's very, very exciting. How will you be tutored? Well, I have tutors who are working on the course, who are part of the structure and are available Monday to Friday. You will see that there are lots of standalone videos. So I tried to get the balance between having some standalone videos where you have got the ability to dip in and out at your own time, but also we'll have live sessions where you will have tutorials with a tutor. You'll have sessions that take place on Zoom. We'll put you in triads where you can liaise with one another to find time to practice your coaching. So there's flexibility within the structure. And we'll also have plenty of live sessions that you can hop onto. You'll also have complete access to all the voice pedagogy stuff. So for those of you that are from a voice background, you can double up there if you wish. And I have available a whole host of voice courses as well as coaching and mentoring courses, which will all be free and part of the MA pathway. So my ideal is to allow cross-pollination between the two MAs. They're like sisters. So thank you for listening, and that takes us through the MA pathway. Please do contact me at Voice Workshop if you have any questions.